Hello, beautiful people. It's me again. And I have a question for you guys. What's something that you have accomplished either personally, professionally, or academically? Strange question. I know. It's one that I received during a job interview one time, and I did not know how to answer that. So I naturally said, I shouldn't say naturally, but I answered with, I got a 565-pound deadlift. Now, silly answer, you can judge me, that's fine. But she did say personally, so, that little asterisk right there. I put the whole corporate spin on it of like, I planned out something, being proactive and, meticulous with my training and all that crap, right? But I want to talk about something today that I feel like a lot of people deal with, but I feel like it's not really talked about all that much. And that is, accomplishments and you feeling like you haven't accomplished anything, right? So I'm not gonna go too deep into detail because I've filmed this video like 4 or 5 times, but while I'm running, it's a mid-run meditation. I want to run while I'm doing it, but my finger keeps slipping, and also like my workout thing keeps like cutting it off just to announce a split pace, which I don't even want it to do, but whatever. So in terms of my repertoire of accomplishments, I did well in academics, right? Honors programs, high GPA, whatever. Graduated college with a high GPA, studied abroad in college, have some pretty, respectable exercise related accomplishments, like 65-pound deadlift, hour 39:29 half marathon, 522 mile as of last week, so that's cool. There's 500-pound squat, 302.5 bench, all that stuff, right? But it's hard for me to say that these are accomplishments because for me, they've always felt like the standard, right? I'm sure a lot of people, you do something and you might get congratulations for it, but it's not the fact that you work towards it and you're like, I worked so hard to do X, Y, and Z. No, you were just doing it because you had to, or you were just going to keep doing it working towards it until you accomplished it. And that's kind of the thing for me, right? I got big congrats from family for high school. I got same for college, right? I didn't really care. I also just didn't like college like as an institution, very specifically mine. But I didn't really care. I was like, okay, cool. I have the piece of paper now. I need to get a soul-sucking job. For my lifts and my running, I was just gonna keep doing it until I got it, right? If I didn't get 565 this one time, I was gonna keep doing it until I got 565 the next time. Same with running, flexibility, calisthenics, all that stuff. And I think it kind of speaks to this. A lot of people talk about how rites of passage kind of aren't really a thing anymore. At least they're less common, especially if you live in like the suburbs of the Midwest. My God, there's like no culture involved, right? Your rite of passage is getting a car, and most of the time you can't even do that unless your parents are rich or you get some really crappy paddy wagon. But like I think it kind of goes into this whole idea of like you want to feel like you've done stuff in your life. You want to have these rites of passage that indicate that you're a man now, or you're successful, or you're progressing somehow, right? It doesn't have to even be like the best. I know, bald. Doesn't even have to be one of those things of like, I need to always be doing something. Just something to add to your life story. And I think a lot of people are like this, right? Where you do it and you're just like, okay, I guess on to the next thing. And I want to remind, and I'm trying to work towards adding things in my life that I can add to this life story, right? Here pretty soon, I'm going to be traveling abroad, living for at least a year overseas, working. I'm super excited for that. I have goals of wanting to do ultra marathons, bike packing across countries. I really want to do a lot of this stuff, and I have an earnest desire to do these things because they sound awesome. They sound like it'd be amazing experiences But I feel a little bit of guilt as well, because there's that small part of me where I'm like, I want to add to the dad lore. I want to, when I go to someone's house party and some stranger asks me like, oh, well, what have you done? Something about you, what's your hobby? I'm gonna be like, well, I ran across the entire Mojave Desert. You Vegas fans. Or I biked across the entirety of the continental U.S. I did the Pacific Crest Trail. I worked overseas for 5 years doing, I don't know, deep sea fishing. I don't know, like the stuff you want to add to your life story, because especially like I cannot emphasize the amount of rot and decay that the Midwest imbues into you, especially the Rust Belt, that imbues into your soul, and you just feel like a boring person for existing, even though you're by all intents and purposes not. So yeah, I feel like a lot of people are this way, but it's not a fun way to be feeling yourself in the world. So I just want to kind of tell people to kind of take yourselves back in the scope of things, right? I think about people, forget social media. It's not real. Everything is for clicks. Who cares? You have real life exists. You need to take yourself kind of back and think, okay, what have I done? Well, if you want to think about things from a numbers perspective, you can say, oh, well, I'm in the top X percent of Americans. I'm in the top X percent of people who graduated college, graduated high school, who did these physical things. And really think about what that means to you. I mean, like, you might have felt like it was a standard, but you had moments that you enjoyed, and those are things that you can derive happiness from. With exercise, I can honestly say, like, I really enjoyed powerlifting. I really enjoyed training for the half marathon, and race day was super fun. And yes, I can add those to my repertoire, even if you have to like convince yourself that they're accomplishments and that they're not just these standard things. Just say they are, and maybe you'll convince yourself they are. And maybe this is crappy advice because I'm 24, right? I don't know a whole lot about the world. I'm still living with my parents to save up money for this job that I mentioned. But try to derive enjoyment from it, from the so-called lack of accomplishments. And maybe you'll feel like they're accomplishments later on, or maybe they're just kind of like low key, or not all nonchalant dreadhead about it. That's fine, but don't. It's easy to demean yourself because they're like, well, it's not that big a deal. To some people, it is a big deal, and in my opinion, that should be enough, right? If that cute girl at the cafe thinks, oh wow, like you've sewn a shirt before, even though you were just you just bought some crappy little Walmart Stinger sewing machine. Hey, if she thinks that's a cool accomplishment you did, own it. And then over time you might feel like, yeah, that actually was pretty cool. This isn't really good advice. Again, 24. I don't have a lot of life lessons to give, other than have standards for yourself. No, don't have the standards that are like militarized self-help things. It's like, oh, you at a baseline, you need to be able to do these things. Okay. If you ain't doing this, you ain't successful. Success is not easily defined, and a lot of those guys are bald losers who probably hit their wives or something. I don't know. It's a type of person. You've seen them. But have standards for yourself. Say, okay, yep, I expect this of myself. I expect to be kind, empathetic, well-read, and if I don't meet those things, then I do need to reevaluate my situations, and I do need to make goals for myself. Having goals is a big thing. Make goals for myself, and then work towards those goals. And then, even though they don't feel accomplished to you, to others around you, it might. And then over time, you can look back on it and, yeah, that was cool. That was fun. Life experience earned. Yeah, that's it for this mid-morning. I got 4 more miles on this tenor. I didn't want to run out again, because I'm not kidding when I said this is the 4th or 5th time that I filmed this, and it was really, really annoying me. So I'll see you all in the next one. Here, right? I can't really do the pec pop. Okay, see y'all.